day, planet Earth. Michael Litten, the last DJ host of Ride the Vibe, playing what I want to play and saying what I want to say. Shout out to the late, great Tom Petty. And broadcasting from the wicked awesome DRS ATL studio in Roswell, Georgia. Wahid Gomes at the technology. Wouldn't be a show without Wahid, because I don't know how to do any of this stuff. It eludes me. But Wahid's got it all mastered. And for those of you in the local area, you're looking for a cool place to do some recording and production work, Wahid's got a great, great setup here. And I'm really, really fired up to have Michael Matney on the show. Matney earned a reputation in the metal underground for his guitar prowess, unique vocal style, and songwriting capabilities. His debut album, White Boy and the Rat Band, is highly sought after by collectors worldwide, topping lists at $1,000 a copy. Holy smoly, I wish I had one of those to sell someone. The Redneck and the Redman is produced by Stevie Salas, who also co-wrote the tracks and provided lead guitar. Rolling Stones called Stevie Salas one of the top 50 guitarists of all time. Whoa, dude, that is some high praise. He was Rod Stewart's guitar player. He has 2 separate million-selling solo albums, and this album is influenced by Michael Matney's musical heroes, as it is his farm life, faith, and demons of his past. We all got those. Having overcome immense personal struggles, Michael is brought back to the straight and narrow through music and his faith. Now he hopes to connect with those struggling through similar battles to show them that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Mike Matney, welcome.
Hello, Michael Litten.
we got a lot of mics going here.
Yeah, I know. Mike 1 and Mike 2. Thanks for having me on, sir.
Oh, my gosh. So fired up. And we have to give a shout out to a mutual friend of ours who is the way we got introduced, and that would be that madman from the bass player from Zedhead, John Burkett.
Okay, so we're not going to waste no time. We're just going to start right in on him. Okay?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, John's a great friend, man. He's really helped me, and I had the privilege to go out and play with Zedhead for a while, and they're just great friends of mine.
Yeah,
and they've really been a big help to me with this latest project.
I love it. And we were talking about it offline, but then tracing back, and we say this thing, there's this expression of the 7 degrees of separation with knowing Kevin Bacon or whatever that thing is. And I don't know whether that's accurate or not, but I do know this pretty much for a fact, that it's 1 to 2 degrees of separation of knowing every musician on the planet if you know Lucy Pillar. And so Lucy was the one that introduced me to John, and then John introduced me to you. So there you go, Lucy Pillar, All Right Now Entertainment.
Listen, I'm glad that you mentioned her because, me and you talked before, and I would like to talk more about her. I know that she's an iconic figure, and I hear her name on both sides of the pond. So I would like to I'd like to meet Lucy and just sit down and have a cold with her sometime.
Yeah.
I understand she's working with a new band now called Hush Money, and John was telling me about it, and undoubtedly these guys are pretty hot. So hopefully we can get out and do something with them. John was mentioning to me just now, there's talk of a show up in Canada toward Vancouver, Cologne, I think is the name of it.
Yeah.
And I think he's trying to get them on the bill with us or something maybe. So maybe we can all go out and hang sometime. But
I love it.
My understanding is she's kind of got Atlanta wired too, so I'd like to come down that way.
Well, we would love to have you come down that way, or because the Burkettmeister has been threatening. And I mean that intentionally. Love you, John, but threatening to come down to the North Georgia mountains and check it out. So if that were to happen, maybe we could get you all over and get Lucy to get a gig lined up there.
When he comes rolling down out of the north, yeah.
So we'll throw it out. We'll throw it out there. And for your fans, Michael, that are just legion, obviously $1,000 a copy for White Boy and the Average Rap Band album, and then this new album, which is just unbelievable. But that may not be familiar with the way we roll Ride the Vibe. So it's a podcast. It's pre-recorded live, and we encourage listeners to sit back in a comfortable environment and get a beverage of their choice. And it's like a digital liner notes, because we're going to play 6, maybe all 8 of the songs off your great new album, The the Redneck and the Redman. But we're not going to play the songs in their entirety because we really want people to go out to www.matney.rocks. What a great URL. And buy the album so you can make some money. But in the studio, we're featuring one of our favorites, and that's Cathead. And Cathead's a distillery out of Mississippi. They're the oldest running distillery in Mississippi because Mississippi was the last state in the Union to do away with Prohibition. And we're featuring, Wahid and I are sampling some Cathead honeysuckle vodka. And we love this vodka because it's made in small batches and it's using all natural ingredients. And the process is simple, kind of like, memories of pulling honeysuckles off the vine back in the day. So we've got some of that in the studio. And the other thing we love about them is they support live music. And how cool is that? Because as Neil Young said so eloquently, live music is better. So along those lines, and this is a first, we're announcing for the first time that there's an opportunity for folks in the Atlanta area to attend a live music event at the Roswell Cultural Arts Center. And this is a jazz series, and it's called Locals and Legends. So the locals, and they're really more than locals, it's Carla Harris, the amazing Carla Harris, and she's paired up with the Joe Alterman Trio. He's just a keyboard monster, and Carla's a vocaling stylist who was blessed to be able to get the Dave Brubeck catalog and has a single out called Cherish. But they're going to perform with the jazz legend, Ken Peplowski, and they're going to be performing on November 16th. Ride the Vibe and DRS ATL are proud to be helping sponsor that. And tickets will go on sale the 29th of April, Roswell Cultural Arts Center. And you need to get your tickets fast because it definitely will sell out. So, Michael, we're so stoked to have you on the show, and what a great album. Talk a little bit about, Redneck and the Redman, and I had to find out who the Redman was, and you shared it with me.
Well, I want to get into that. While you're doing plugs, can I throw one more out there?
Yeah, brother.
Okay, I want to throw in. I got a buddy down in Atlanta, and they're out playing. His name's Tim Gunner, and he's playing with Dustin Ledford and the Chosen Few, and they've got a new album coming out called "Product of My Raisin." So that'll be out on June 15th. So I wanted to mention those guys for you because they're right there in your area.
Well, they need to come on Ride the Vibe if they're willing.
I'm sure they would love that. Well, I'll pass that along to those guys.
Yeah, we have them in the studio, and that'd be great.
Well, let me tell you about the Redman.
Yes, absolutely.
He's the boss. That's Obi-Wan. Stevie Salas, man. Yes. I mean, he is just an amazing dude. He's got more gold records than anybody, I'd say. He's produced and played for all the greats. I mean, he's just an impressive guy, and he's Native American. He's very active culturally. Yeah, and he's involved in a lot of stuff. Stevie's Apache. He's Apache, right? I think, is that right? Right. And he's. Well, like I said, he's just an impressive guy, an impressive musician, and just an awesome producer. But he's really helped me out a lot. And he kind of reached down. And, I go back to the Zedhead thing, the connection there. Yeah. But Stevie has a documentary called Rumble. Yeah. And if you've never seen it, it's on Netflix, and it's just, I highly recommend it because it'll change the way you think about rock and roll and about, the history of rock and roll. Absolutely. And the kind of the after the colon, so it's Rumble, the Indians who rocked the world. That's right. And this is how obtuse I am. But I am the last DJ. So I watched it and was fascinated by it, right? And there's Stevie Salas, who's produced it and, is in it, prominently featured. And I just didn't make the connection. My brain it just didn't fire until after you and I talked. And I asked the innocent question, is Stevie Salas, is he red-haired? And he goes, no. And he said, no, he's a Native American. He did Rumble. And I'm like, oh, my God, that documentary, it's just unbelievable. And those musicians, in addition to him, Buffy St. Marie, Robbie Robertson out of Canada, Jimi Hendrix had no idea. And then
Jessia Davis, who, I just kind of worshipped at Bangladesh. Harrison's asking him to stand in case Clapton can't make it because Clapton was battling his demons back then. But yeah, well worth watching. And then, Link Ray, of course, and his Raymen doing the song Rumble, which I had no idea about. So it's just for musicologists, highly, highly recommend it. Anybody, really.
I understand, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Link Ray just got recently put into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I think.
Oh, he did?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on that. Yeah. And I think, Stevie, he was, I don't know, he was, the movie and everything. I wonder how much it had to do with that. But
I bet a lot. I bet it had a lot, and hopefully it did, because, just such rich history there and really literally kind of unknown. And one of my all-time favorite albums that I would, one of the kind of have on a desert island, if you will, is Robbie Robertson's the song or music for Native Americans. And if you don't have that, again, I'd have to have it. I play it to death every sunset, literally. Well, we need to cue up, if we could, Wahid, Rebel Saint, which is the first song off of Redneck and the Redman, and that's Matney's new album, and it's matney.rocks is where you can find it, plus all the usual spots, but go out and buy it. It's just killer. Let's hear Rebel Saint, and we'll be right back. Ride the Vibe. Michael Litten, the last DJ, playing what he wants to play, and in this case, playing the great, great new album, The Redneck. That would be, I believe, Mike Matney, and the Redman, I'm taking a guess, that would be the Apache Stevie Salas, who, as I understand it, go back to this Rumble, he and Tim Johnson, who's a Mohawk, two of the film's executive producers, had created an exhibit at the Smithsonian for American Indians and about the indigenous influence in American music. And it was titled Up Where We Belong, Native Musicians and Popular Culture. And that then was the kind of genesis of the movie Rumble. But
That's right. Stevie worked with the Smithsonian there, which is,
big time.
Impressive. He's he's all over the place. He's got a production company, C and Red, and with Graham Greene. You know who Graham is?
I don't. I know the name, but
he's a great Native American actor. He's on Yellowstone. Okay. He was known from Yellowstone.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So, but I think they've done.
Is he the kind of the head of the Indian reservation?
Yeah.
Great character. Love him.
Yeah, I do too. My wife as well. She's a Yellowstone fanatic.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, they've done several productions. I think they're working on a new movie right now, and I think he had another movie called Bowler Point, I believe, and it was about Native American and about the issues with their water and stuff. So, like I said, he's very active in.
I love it
culturally. Very.
I love it. Well, and just flesh out. You touched on it just a little bit, Michael, but flesh out just a little bit more. How you and Stevie came to be? There's a Zed-head connection. Is that what I picked up a little?
Yeah. I live on a farm back here in Virginia, and I got my recording industry degree from MTSU down in Nashville and everything. But I'm always trying to keep my chops up and stuff, and looking at stuff. And so a few years ago, I was online and I took an online course about music marketing and stuff. And one of the things you had to do in the course was reach out for people for collaborations. Well, I always wrote my own stuff, and I never really liked to collaborate. Never done it before, but I was going to be the good student and follow the guidelines and stuff. So I sent these things out. Well, lo and behold, of course, one of my dreams, Stevie's one of my heroes. So I never in the world thought he'd write back.
Yeah,
and he did. And I was all excited about it. So I posted it on my Facebook page. I said, "Hey, I just got to talk to Stevie Salas." Well, okay. So my buddies from Zed-head, one of them, Neil
Chapman.
Yeah, Neil Chapman.
Who John says of Neil that John believes that Neil is the best blues guitarist in Canada.
Well, that's well said.
Yeah.
But I got a letter or a message back from him. He said, "Tell Stevie I said hi." And I was like, "Oh my
gosh!"
So next thing you know, I never figured I would even hear from Stevie again. But the next thing I know, I get a letter back from him say, "Hey, I hear we have mutual friends," And so we struck up a conversation, and it led to about a year and a half of back and forth of planning and what we were going to do and everything. So I ended up going to Austin and recording with him. And
oh my God,
man, just the experience of a lifetime.
I love it. We'll talk about, just to touch on a little bit, the title, or not title track, but the first track, Rebel Saint. It sounds like you wove in experiences from your past, the good, the bad, and the ugly, as it were.
I tell everybody that this is like the life is a highway analogy on steroids. It's got a little bit of the Jesus thing in it, because it's like it's hard to make it on your own, and it's hard to be somebody you're not, and that's kind of the whole thing about it. Needing a little help, but other than that, it's just
well, don't we all?
A raucous good time. Yeah, I mean, it's for me, a lot of my music is about that struggle. I struggle with it. So you try to. These are crazy times we're living in, and it's if you hold the Christian values and morals and stuff, you're
you got a rock, you got a solid rock, right?
Yeah.
Well, and I would say of people that anyone that says they haven't had any struggles is a liar. But the album got me all fired up. So Wahid, if we could hear the second track off of this great new album, All Fired Up, that would be killer. And again, y'all, we're only playing a couple minutes because we want you to go to Matney, MATNEY.rocks. Now, if you can't remember that, if you can't get to that and buy the album, please, come on.
Just might bite. Checking my fur in the mirror, 'cause the way I feel, I might prowl all night. She moves like water on the windshield. She don't do slow.
Michael's new album, The Redneck and the Redman. Love it. Michael, talk about that song. And then when we were offline, you've got a buddy, Vincent Ruby, you want to speak about too. So you can pick either way. You go either direct.
Okay, like you said, I got to think about it before I lose track. I can't remember. I'll fire it up. The genesis of that song was back in the pandemic. I was stuck here on the farm, and of course, I got up with Burkett up in Canada, and I did this song, and John played bass on it, and I got these friend over in Italy to play drums on it, and then I got a Russian guy living in China to put down the lead guitar solo on it, and I sort of just like put it all together here at the studio and made a little video and put it out there. So we called it the Screeners. So we were all stuck. Everybody was stuck, The
Screeners.
Yeah, for the pandemic.
Probably more like screamers. Probably wanted to scream. Now, where did the Italian dude and the Russian dude? How'd you connect with them? Is that through
Facebook? I had a buddy who was a kind of a fan over in Italy, and his dad is a big pop star over there. Anyway, he said, "Yeah, I've got a cousin that plays drums, and he said he'll play drums on it." And anyway, it just kind of come together, and it was a lot of fun.
I love it.
But the song "All Fired Up" is just about basically being stuck at home and wanting to get out.
Well, you just got a great review by Chris O'Connor, and he's a rock poser. He says .com, rockposer.com, and he reviewed Matney, the Redneck and the Redman. And the thing that stuck out to me was he said, "What you get if you take ZZ Top, add some ZZ Top, and then further add a dash of ZZ Top, you get Matney's Redneck and the Redman." And what hit me when I read that little headline kind of thing was, and this isn't me patting myself on the back, but I've been blessed to have Neil and John on the show a couple times, Zedhead guys, and I have said of them, I've called them and nicknamed them the little old band from Canada. So I'm like, man, oh man, if you're looking for a ZZ Top fix, if you will, and you're looking for original music that sounds kind of like ZZ Top in a playlist, it's your new album and Zedhead's new album combined. I mean, it's like a no-brainer kind of thing, right?
Yep, agreed. John and him, I mean, they nail that stuff. John's kind of got that look.
Yeah, not kind of.
yeah, he's there. But and for people that don't know, he's got a long gray beard. He looks just like the guy from,
In fact, he probably shared with you. Someone asked him to be in a commercial here or some TV show or whatever. I don't know what it is. And they want him to play a biker. Oh, yeah. Imagine that.
The best one is the one I seen with him where he's dressed up as the not the priest, but the bishop, and he's got the whole big staff and the long beard and the big outfit, the big hat on. And I'm like, geez, whoever cast that.
Yeah, it's perfect. Well, talk about enough about John Burkett. This isn't a show about John, damn it.
Doggone it.
I know. What the heck? He's intruding into the show already. Got that guy. Talk about Vincent Ruby.
Okay. Vincent, man, I'm constantly doing these interviews and everything, and I don't give Vincent near enough credit. I don't talk about him enough.
Yeah.
The guy kind of helped make the album because it's his background vocals. He done the background vocals on it. And, Stevie would call him and just, go over what he wanted. And there would be times he'd say, "No, I'll do this." And he'd go back and forth. But the guy's just such a pro, man. Yeah. And, I mean, it really, it makes the album. It gives it such a, professional sound. It's not like a choir. I don't know how he does all that. But
where's he out of, Michael?
He's out of Hilton Head. And he's got his own gig. John Wayne Vincent, but Vincent Ruby's his name, and the guy's undoubtedly worked with all kinds of pros, and he's got a past. I would love to hear an interview with him and just see who all the people he's been with, and some of the stuff he's done.
Does he have his own music out, or is he all?
Yes, I mean he like I said, he's got his own thing.
I love
now
it.
As far as albums and stuff that he's got. I mean, I'm not familiar with all of the, but I can just tell you he's been instrumental in and helping me. And I've went out and watched YouTube videos and stuff of his guitar work and him play and stuff. He's just an awesome musician. Has a little trio. So check those guys out.
Vincent Ruby. Well, and then, that's a good segue to talking about some of your musical influences, Roy Acuff and Willie Dixon and David Allan Coe.
Yeah. Well, there's been quite a few. I mean, I guess probably if I have to look back, I'd say Billy Gibbons.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. I played that Tres Hombres album till I wore the grooves out in it. You know, and trying to learn the licks and everything. So I mean, he's one of my heroes.
Yeah.
And of course, I like a lot of the guitar players, songwriters like I like Robin Trower. Of course, Hendrix. I mean, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
Frank Marino, man, Pratt Travers, some of those guys. Those are the guys I used to listen to all the time. What
was the seminal moment, if you will, Michael, when you said, "This is it. This is what I want to do"? Do you have is it crystallized in your mind? Where
Yeah, I can remember. Of course, my mom was a keyboard player in church. She was a piano player in church. So I grew up taking piano lessons when I was 6 years old. I was getting out of the first grade and going to take lessons. But, I can remember like probably in junior high school or so, I had a neighbor and he had an older brother. They had a band, his brothers in high school and stuff. And they had a little band that was jamming in the basement. And my friend took me down there and we watched them play one day and that was it.
And you were in high school, so you had
I was in junior high. Those guys were in high school. They were older guys playing a rock band, and
So that was it. And you said, and then your mom, dad supportive, or did they didn't push it, but they were supportive of it? I mean,
her mom was a keyboard player and everything. Yeah, she was. I mean, the music. I can remember this one. I'll tell you this right quick. There was one birthday party when I was young in junior high, and I was so into the music and everything. And I had all my friends come up, and the band was going to play. We had a party that, my mom was at a party in the basement and everything. And so it would come time for open gifts and everything. And I just knew there was this big long box sitting over in the corner. I knew it was a new instrument. And I was just waiting. Everybody was all excited. And I opened the box. It was golf clubs. So, my parents were very supportive, but, it took them a while to get it,
Golf clubs. What was up with that? Were you?
I don't know. I still got those,
I love it. Well, that's a nice segue, too. And then I want to come back and talk about your pending deal with guitar. But that's a good segue into the third song off this great album, Big Daddy and the Golf Clubs. That is Big Daddy off of Mike Matney's Redneck and the Redman. And you can find that at Matney, MATNEY.rocks. Talk about the Big Daddy and also the Big Daddy opportunity that's kind of in the works with Qatar, just at the high level.
Originally, it was You Gotta Pay. And then Stevie got a hold of it and changed some lyrics and Frankensteined it and changed this part for that part, moved it around, and it become Big Daddy. And I swear, every time I hear it and think about it, I just see a really big guy open a refrigerator door and thinking about a piece of cheesecake that he can have. I'm sorry, that's the way my mind works.
Is that your weakness, cheesecake?
Well, sweets, yeah. About 11 o'clock at night, man, I'm raiding the refrigerator every night.
Oh, boy. All right, so if you want to get Michael Matt, if you want to ingratiate yourself to Michael when you see him live, bring him some sweets.
Bring him a piece of cheesecake.
Yeah, or cheesecake.
The guitar thing, I just can't touch. I really can't say anything about it. We spoke about it in the break there, but I can't say anything about it. I'm really excited about it, but news coming there.
Yeah, good. So stay tuned. Yeah, stay tuned. And we're so blessed because this album really isn't going to release until end of April. Is that right, Michael? I mean, you're putting out singles and doing that, but not an official release date until end of April. Is that right?
I think it's the 26th that it comes out on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
love it. And you are on Roulette Records. So talk a little bit about them because you got the common denominator with Zedhead on Roulette. Talk about that.
That's right. There those guys go again, helping me out. They sort of pointed me toward. I'd done some interviews with Mark Carey, and I knew those guys over there.
And Mark is the CEO.
He's the big dog.
He's the Big Daddy.
Yeah, and Bob and Leonard, they run it, and great people, good people. They've been very helpful to me.
Yeah.
The cool thing about going with them, and it's a UK label, and I'm a redneck from Virginia, but the thing about going with those guys is it really worked out good because Stevie was really big in the UK and in Europe and stuff, and it so happens that Roulette is hooked up through Cargo, which is the distributor there. And Cargo is like the biggest distributor in Europe. Yeah. Well, it so happens when, we were talking about this and I was, talking to Stevie about it, he said, well, see if, such and such is there at Cargo because he was my guy, Well, yeah, so we're hooked up with Stevie's people now at Cargo. Wow. So that, we had his old distribution with there. So there was some thought went into that, it's kind of, so we'll see how all that works out. But so far, so good. I mean, those guys are really on the ball. It's a very active label.
You touched on it a little bit, but I want to flush it out a little bit more. There's definitely a divine component to the coming together of this. From what I'm picking up, are you? I'm sure in complete agreement on that.
As far as the coming together, the whole thing with Zedhead, and it's just so weird the way it happened. My sister, she passed away back in 2016, 17, and she was online dating before that and ran into the manager, or a guy that was attempting to manage Zedhead at the time, and he invited me down to Pinellas Park to see those guys play. And I went, and that's where I met John and all of them. We, got to know each other and everything. And through that, that's you can trace your roots back to that, to me being with Stevie, through Neil and everything. So, and then my mom passed away during COVID and stuff. And, she left me a little bit of money to work with and to help get this stuff out and everything with. So, if not for my mom and my sister, I would never be able to do this, and not for help with Zedhead. And of course, Stevie, I feel like Stevie reached down and he didn't have to do this. He's helping out at, somebody, help giving me a leg up. And, I really appreciate and respect that.
I love it. Yeah. Well, that's that whole play it forward kind of thing. And I don't know about your life, but in my life, there are no coincidences. Everything happens
there you go.
exactly as it's supposed to. And I think that's a a nice segue, given the your mom and your sister, to queuing up All She Wrote, if we could, Mr. Wahid.
Working on a V8 blade, changing out an intake, aligning the brakes, making his old lady wait. Throw it on the rack, put on the cat's bag, little Velcro on the dashboard, an aftermarket tag. She was kind of moody, obnoxious and unruly, like a monster movie, but a hottie and a cutie. Goodbye, Joe, and that's all she wrote. My payday in my pocket, be a screwdriver, you be my little sucker. Goodbye, Joe, and that's all she wrote. Goodbye, Joe, and that's all she wrote. You and me, like the road and the tire. When I'm with you, there's nothing I can do. I'm on fire.
She Wrote, the Redneck and the Redman. Matney's new album, Matney.rocks, is where you can find it and buy it and put a little money in Michael's pocket, as opposed to the Spotify, where someone told, I had a musician, I think recently, or someone was saying that it takes, or no, we were at an event. We were seeing Ides of June, Wahid, From the Earth in Roswell. And the lead singer and bass player, Dusty, said 50,000 streams equals what they get from an album. Does that sound right, Michael? Something like that? Yeah. It really, and we could go down that, that Daniel Elk with Spotify, but, telling musicians, if you want to make more money, just produce more product. Oh, okay. Yeah. But All She Wrote, so, we were talking about it, and I'd love you to flush out, you had the influence of your mom and the church and your sister and the divine component that is really kind of coalesced over this project. Michael, talk about that and your faith there.
I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to talk about it. I made a promise when I first started this that, the bigger I got, or the more the music got out there, the more people was going to know I was a Christian. Like I said it earlier in the interview, my mom played in church and stuff, and I need to do more of that. But I'll be honest with you, Mike, I'm terrified of that. That's more sober people than I've ever played for. So, So anyway, I figured, if I can do it through the music, and I don't mind talking to people and telling people, how I feel about things. Yeah. It's just crazy times we're living in. Yeah. And I don't want to beat anybody over the head with it, but I'll touch on it with a feather.
Yeah. Yeah. Good for you.
Give me a chance.
No, and I think it is more timely now than ever. And people of faith shouldn't be afraid and should be out there saying exactly what you're doing. Or doing exactly what you're doing. God bless you for it, brother.
I don't know. I struggle. I'm a poor example of what a good Christian should be. But I mean, I struggle with it. And I think I try to, that's a lot of my music, a lot of the songs and stuff. You'll hear that in the songs intentionally, man. I mean, even with White Boy and Average Rap Band, I was doing that, so,
well, and I'll have to respectfully, as the last DJ, respectfully disagree with you in your statement that you don't think you're, doing a good Christian thing, because I've heard at least 4 or 5 or more examples of you complimenting, reaching out, seeking to weave in, hey, I want to give a shout out to Vincent Ruby. I want to give a shout out to Tim Gunner. Hey, Stevie Salas wouldn't have been, this without him. Neil Chapman, John Burkett, Lucy Pillar. I mean, it goes on and on and on. So I think that's the Christian way, right? Playing it forward.
Well, that's nice of you to say. Yeah, I mean, less of me, more of him. So there. But thanks for giving me a chance to talk about that.
I love it. Well, and bringing up Stevie a little bit, talk about your creative process, Michael, and then how you collaborated with Stevie, and then you referenced, like on Big Daddy, that Stevie kind of Frankensteined it. How do you deal with that? Because it would seem like the song you wrote, it's kind of like you gave birth, and then here's a guy coming in and saying, "No, we got to change this or change that." Talk a little bit about that.
I'm sorry, but that analogy I use it all the time.
It's all good. It's good.
These songs are my kids. I feel like that. So he kind of went through stuff that I had, and kind of looked through all my songs, and said, well, let's work this one. Let's work this. Let's rework. And so he ended up getting in there and changing stuff and tweaking them and mechanics and stuff. And that part was awesome. And I realized when I got down there and got to working with him, 2 things. First off, I was staying in an apartment above the studio, and I was reading Stevie's book of a night, and he coming down working with him of a day. And it was very intimidating because, the guy is just
a monster.
He's been with, he's been with everybody. Right. Well, and also, here we go. I'd read an article, some writings about Taylor Hawkins, of course, talking about working with Stevie and how Stevie could be very aggressive. And I had read several other articles. He's old school in the studio. He knows what he wants, and man, he's going to get it out of you. Yeah. And I had to tell myself, this is how he works. So, he would drill you, brother. He was, but, it's kind of like that Bill Belichick thing, at the end of the day, when you got that trophy,
Yeah. When you have that gold record, you're going, thank you.
Yeah.
Or that platinum record, right?
Yeah. So, that's.
Was it hard though? Was it, did it, a part of you go, Gal, I wrote this song. It's kind of personal to me, and now you're changing it? Or was it just, you could release it?
Kevin, and I'm Kevin that owns Assembly Line Studios, and Gutierrez. The guys were making fun of me this weekend because I can't pronounce Kevin's last name, and I told him we're probably not going to be able to be friends anymore after he hears some of these interviews. But anyway, Kevin that run the studio, he told me, after one of the sessions one night, he said, "Listen," he said, "a lot of people come in here, and they want to tell the producer what they want. And they want to, their girlfriends will come in with them and they'll say, well, I don't like that part. Or, he said, you didn't do that. He said, you kind of gave Stevie free reign. Yeah. And he said, because you did that, you got the record that you got. Yeah. And so, it's very hard to let loose. But at the same time, for me, going and getting a producer was a big change. Yeah,
and that caliber then too.
Oh, absolutely. But the whole project was a leap of faith for me.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Well, you went in with an empty cup, right? You didn't go in with a full cup, and so that gave Stevie the opportunity to then, really collaborate and make the most of it. And it's a brilliant project. And so, love to cue up, if we could, Wahid, the 5th song off the album, Redneck and the Redman, Tomcat. Ooh, I like that. We'll be right back.
Nothing but a low-down tomcat. Most Wanted was a friend of mine. Made a living in a life of crime. Tomcat.
You are back on Ride the Vibe. Michael Litten, the last DJ, playing what he wants to play. And in this case, playing the great new album, Redneck and the Redman. Matney.rocks is where you can find it. And please go out and buy it. And then also, I have to give a shout out for anybody, any musicians out there listening. If you're looking for a way to make some money while you sleep, reach out to Wahid Gomes, the owner of DRS ATL Studios here in Atlanta. And he's also got a boutique publishing business, Verde Music, for sync licensing and stuff like that. Now, I don't know what the heck that is, but Wahid knows it, and it's a way you can make money, again, while you're sleeping. So, Tomcat, talk about that song, and then, whatever else you want to talk about, Michael.
Heck, man, I want to talk to Wahid. I want to make some money while I'm sleeping.
Well, he'll hook you up.
Good deal. Absolutely.
Talk about that song, Tomcat. Great.
Well, Tomcat, there's not a lot I can say about it. I really can't even remember writing that one.
Oh my God, I love that. That was done several years ago, and that was part of the stuff that I pulled out and showed Stevie, and he said, "Hey," he said, "that's the song right there." Interesting.
And
no, wait a minute, just freeze there for a minute. So that's, so you didn't even remember writing it, but Stevie goes, "That's a song. That's a keeper." Isn't that crazy? That's wild.
Yeah. Well, he actually, we were going to call the album Tomcat for a long time. It's going to be the title off the album, and I paid this guy Stephen Cobb to do some artwork for me.
Yeah.
I mean, Stephen's a great artist. He's an artist for Heaven and Hell, the label I used to be on, and he's done so many album covers. But I paid him to do this really nice album cover, man, for the Tomcat thing. Yeah. And then we didn't use it. So,
Do you still have it? But that could be something that you could market somehow or other.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out how to use it. Yeah, it's like a great poster for here in the studio.
Well, for the single when you released Tomcat as a single.
That's another weird thing because I had to go back. Like we were going to do 3 singles, and I had to come up with 3 separate pieces of artwork. But the guy told me that we're embedding this IRC stuff on it and everything. That if I didn't release it as a single, that I was not to put separate artwork on.
Oh, interesting.
Technical stuff. Man, I've had to wear so many hats doing this, figure out so much different things. It's crazy.
Yeah, probably, anyway. And probably stuff you don't really enjoy doing.
No, I don't want to know, but
you and me both. Like, I don't want to know what he's doing in there in that other room on the board. Well, let's tee up this 6th song, "This Heart Has a Ghost," off of Redneck and the Redman.
Here we are again.
Ride the Vibe. Michael Litten, the last DJ host of Ride the Vibe. And Mr. Michael has said he wants to find out how he can make money in his sleep. And who wouldn't, darn it all? That is This Heart Has a Ghost. Talk about that track, Michael. 7th or 6th, rather.
Oh, geez. That's, that song was probably wrote back in the 90s.
Wow.
It's that when I was in school, I wrote that song and recorded it in my apartment.
Oh my God.
And anyway, it's been around for a while. So, it's got a, I think probably if I had to say some of the influence on that would be maybe some Bowie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was listening to at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's another.
I love it. So how did you, of your catalog, did you share them all with Stevie Salas? Did you just pick a bunch? I mean, how'd you do that? How'd you?
That was difficult times.
Yeah, I bet.
I bet. I was going through this and that and the other, and trying to see stuff that we work with. And Stevie had a particular sound in mind that he wanted for it, and he knew what and he's told me before. He said, "Man," he said, "Listen, I'm going to make you a new audience." He said, "I want you to," because he knew about the metal stuff. And he said, "You can't be that guy anymore. You got to be." And
reinvent yourself as you will.
He's trying to help me. So, and he, I love it. He knew, that we'd go in the recording. He would tell me, he said, "Listen," he said, "the strippers got to be able to dance to it. The guys got to be able to rock out on the guitar." And, nobody told me that when I was 18 and making the first album. That's good advice.
Yeah, I love that. That's very prophetic advice. So you musicians out there, that you've gotten some wise words of wisdom from both Mike Matney and Stevie Salas. So, Michael, if you could jam with any band, past or present, and I think I know the answer to this, who would it be?
This is one of those questions. You hit me with that a minute ago. And you know what I thought about? I've done a lot of these interviews, and I just did an interview with a girl from Italy, and she was, new to the things. And she asked me, if you could be any superhero,
oh God,
story creatures, what would you be? And I was like, I didn't see that coming at all.
My
man.
God.
It's like there was like a.
Well, I hope you're not putting that question in the same category.
I know, but it's like when you say, what band would you like to play with? I mean, my mind goes crazy. I mean, there's
trying to think of one. All right.
There's a ton of great ones, but I guess, I'm going to say ZZ Top.
That's what
the one that you thought?
Yes, of course it is. Yes.
They are a big influence, and I hear that in my music.
Yes.
And I'll tell you this. The funniest thing, when you put social media out there, you get all kinds of comments. Get ready for it. When you put your stuff out there. So some of the stuff I've seen has been really hilarious. But one of them, I seen a guy, this has been one that kind of keeps popping up, is ZZ Zombie.
ZZ Zombie.
Well, I like Rob Zombie's stuff too. I kind of got, I guess, that voice, and heavy. So I thought,
I love it.
If you want to say her stuff sounds like ZZ Top,
that's a high compliment.
Zombie, man, I'm good with that.
Well, that's Chris O'Connor in his review on rockposer.com. He said, "What do you get if you take some ZZ Top, add some ZZ Top, and then further dash the ZZ Top? You get Matney's Redneck and the Redman." That's high praise. So I think I know the album to this one, or the answer to this one too. If you could put together the ultimate 3-piece band, musicians dead or alive, is it going to be ZZ Top, or are you going to come up with a different? And you can think about that one, because we're going to play Washed in Blood, because we're going bonus round here now, because we're having so much fun with this album. We're going to play the 7th track, Washed in Blood. Just a couple minutes, and then we'll be right back, y'all.
I've got worries. I've had troubles. I will rise above. I've been washed in blood.
You all are back on Ride the Vibe. Michael Litten, the last DJ, enjoying some Cathead honeysuckle vodka. Michael Matney is envious of that. But we're gonna hook him up with some when he gets either over to Atlanta and hooks up with Lucy Pillar, or up into the North Georgia mountains and hooks up with John Burkett. That was Washed in Blood. Michael, you can talk either A, about Washed in Blood, talk about who your superhero would be, or a three-piece band that you would put together.
Washed in the Blood. Of course, that's, that's kind of, like I said, we've talked about the faith thing and everything. And I like to touch on it with the feather. And that's probably the heaviest hit you're going to take on it on the album. I mean, and that song goes back, was written years ago too, probably in the late 80s. Jeez. I've had that song since then. Yeah. And
that's crazy.
So that song's been around. And,
wow. I love it.
And so it's an expression of the faith, and it's just Stevie liked it too. I love the beat to it.
Yeah. So now we're gonna play "Washed in Blood." I think, Wahid, if we could cue it up, and then you're gonna come back, Michael, and if you so choose, you're gonna give listeners 3 albums you think they have to have in their collection. We'll be right back, y'all. The Vibe, Michael Litten, the last DJ, having just a fantastic conversation. Could go another hour, 2 hours with Mike Matney. www.matney, MATNEY.rocks is where you can find his music, along with the other, usual platforms where they make 0.0003 cents.
That's all right. That's fine. It's One Way Road, and that's that song's kind of a sign of the times, Sting. Yeah. I mean, it's crazy times we're living in. So that's pretty much what that one's about. Now, if you, to your question, who would the ultimate three-piece band be? Or the band be? I would think I always admired and one of my heroes, Tommy Aldridge. I thought he was just the best drummer ever. Yeah.
And he was in, for those that may not know.
Oh gosh, Black Oak, Pat Cavers. Yeah. He's played for all kinds of people. Yeah. But I just thought I just admire his musicianship, And
so he's on drums. You got him on drums.
Yeah, and
of course you got John Burkett on bass.
I was going to say that just because that just make it fun. Let's talk about John some more, okay?
Of course.
You've not given me time to really give John a hard time yet, and I've got stories, man.
Yeah, well, he tells me he's got stories of you with a yellow submarine and something about Swedish couples, but we can't get into that because this show cannot be about John Burkett.
Okay.
It's a killer album. And I will hearken to Billy Idol with a rubble yell. I want more. So I can't wait for the second album. And just wrap up, you can either, give 3 albums you'd recommend to listeners or just what's next for you, that kind of either or both, because it's just been fascinating.
Oh, gosh. Well, I know we got some shows coming up probably toward the last of summer. We've got some things coming up. People can catch up with us on our socials. Yep. Please find us on our Facebook page, and we've got Instagram. Perfect. and then YouTube, and also Matney.rocks. Yep. You can get up with us there. But people Perfect. Can buy the album on, and download the album anywhere they buy music, wherever your favorite, Amazon, just anywhere. Good. As far as 3 albums I would recommend. Yeah. All right. It's Tres Hombres.
Yeah, I heard that. Amen.
And geez, I mean, I like, just stuff that off the top of my mind that I really wore the grooves out of. Yeah. Pat Travers' live album. Oh. You remember that? Yeah. I really love that. Yeah. And there's another one. I'll throw another one at you. Yeah. Frank Marino's live album. Oh. The first one, like the 77, I think it was. You come out, that's some stuff that just really jumps out at me.
I love it. That's brilliant.
A lot of guitar stuff.
Go figure, as a guitarist.
Let me mention right quick, my band. I'd like to give a shout out to Omar Vallejo. Okay. He's my bass player, and Richard Jesse, my guitar player, and Mike Zioli, my drummer. I mean, these guys are real pros, and they flew in this weekend. We rehearsed from Austin, and we're getting ready to go out. I mean,
I heard you rehearsed amongst the fishing and the drinking and stuff.
Oh, my goodness. Richard lives down on the river, in Damascus, and it just got really crazy there at a couple of points. Omar got his first taste of whitewater rafting, and we all videotaped and watched him, so it was fun. But
well, this has been a gas. And I look forward to Dusty Ledford and perhaps Vincent Ruby and having them on the show.
Awesome.
And catching up with you either in Atlanta, thanks to Lucy Pillar, or in the North Georgia mountains with John Burkett and Lucy Pillar. Michael, it's just been a gas. God bless you, brother. And we are out of here. Ride the vibe. Bye-bye.
Take care.